Welcome to another in the series of Mystical Perspectives. I'm your host, Reverend Cindy Paulos. Happy to be here with you. I've been studying and teaching with the University of Metaphysics for many years. And I was taught by Dr. Paul Leon Masters, who is my mentor. And he has a book out called Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations. It's really quite an amazing book. I take just a page of it and meditate on the words there of these affirmations, and then I take a day out of the week to share my meditations on the affirmations with you. Today we're going to be talking about a wonderful subject, the secret power of the mind. By the way, if you're interested in getting this book, it's on Amazon. You can also go to metaphysics.com, and on metaphysics.com not only can you buy the book, you can also see the lecture that is related to this book if you go to metaphysics.com/Paul-Leon-lectures. And he has his insights on the subject there as well. So today's subject is a really interesting one. It's the secret power of the mind. And there was so much made of the book, The Secret. This has been going on for thousands of years, understanding the power of the mind. Once we tap into our source, to God, there's unlimited power when we allow that God power to come in with us. Now, I'm going to share the affirmations here. I'll share them twice. I'll read them once, and if you want to read along with me the second time, you're welcome to. It's always helpful if you read out affirmations and speak them out loud. And if you have the book, it's on page 49. First is conscious mind. I recognize that my conscious mind is an outer energy emanating forth from innermost central consciousness or universal mind/spirit God intelligence. Again, giving us the clue, the secret. Let's connect with God and it's all there. So repeating that, I recognize that my conscious mind is an outer energy emanating forth from the innermost central consciousness or universal mind/spirit God intelligence. Now, I meditate every day and I write down what I get, and I have had thousands and thousands and thousands of messages. I just released my new book, which is just out on Amazon, by the way, which is on affirmations, meditations, and prayers. So it's under prayers, affirmations, and meditation. So, and those all come from that infinite intelligence. I couldn't begin to write if I didn't have that source. And I know Dr. Masters also connected to that source, and he taught me how to. And you have that at your inner fingertips. Just reach there inside to your soul. The next one's source. I recognize that the innermost central consciousness or universal mind/spirit God intelligence is the ultimate source for all good that I can experience in this physical life and beyond. You notice he says even beyond, because that's when you're even closer to that spirit and that intelligence. Repeating that, source. I recognize that the innermost central consciousness or universal mind, spirit God intelligence, is the ultimate source for all good that I can experience in this physical life and beyond. I have a friend who's a unity minister, and she always says simple phrase, which is really most helpful when you're not feeling it, which is God is good all the time. God, of course, so close to the words good, and that good is the force that we can tap into, especially most important when we are not necessarily feeling that goodness. Just using those words, God is good all the time, brings you that power to connect with the presence. The next one's will. I recognize that to have what is necessary to make my life what the universe or God wants it to be, that I must give up my personal will to the will of the creating presence of God within me. Now, it's so easy to just turn it over to God, but when we're in the midst of our ego, sometimes we use our will, our ego's will, to get what we want, rather than realizing it's what is right with God's will that is in the flow. Repeating this, I recognize that to have what is necessary to make my life what the universe or God wants it to be, that I must give up my personal will to the will of the creating presence of God within me. This is something that is really helpful to do every day, whether you do it at night before you go to sleep, when you do it in the morning, whether you do it morning or night, because it's a daily practice. This isn't something you just say one time, because our ego and our own mind will cloud God's will from our conscious mind. So we need to always do that. The next one happens to be affirmation on cleansing. I recognize that I must cleanse the outer parts of my personal sense of mind of accumulated karma, trauma, and past negativity to open my conscious awareness to the universal God source within me to provide energized creating thought activity. Now, this is something Dr. Masters talks about quite a bit. You know, if you have a lot of garbage there, until you clear the garbage out, the light can't get through the garbage. And it's as simple as realizing that, we take baths every day, hopefully, or showers. You need to also clear your mind. So important to cleanse that mind so it can be clear and that light of pure consciousness can come through. When there's a lot of negative energy which shows up in the mind as darkness, the light has a hard time getting through to it. So this again is a daily practice. Repeating here, I recognize that I must cleanse the outer parts of my personal sense of mind of accumulated karma, trauma, and past negativity to open up my conscious awareness to the universal God source within me to provide energized, creating thought activity. Of course, this is why affirmations are so very important, right? I mean, that is one of the ways you can set your mind and cleanse and put that affirmation of positive energy in your mind. And that positive energy will clear out the negative, also using light and visualizations will. Thought power. I recognize that creating thought power energy working in me is in proportion to what degree I have opened myself to my inner God source, and thus all creating thought energy is not of any personal selfhood, but of universal God presence working through me. Again, where is your center? Where is your GPS? Where is that energy coming from? If it's coming from God, you are an unlimited, infinite power of light and love working through what you wish to do. So we always set our GPS to God, right? Repeating this, I recognize that creating thought, power, energy working in me is in proportion to what degree I have opened myself to my inner God source, and thus all creating thought energy is not of any personal selfhood, but of universal God presence working through me. Can you feel the difference? Can you feel the difference when you're connected to that presence and letting that presence and that spirit, that God energy flow through you? there is a difference. I as soon as I go into meditation, or if I call in the light, I can feel the difference in energy of their presence versus my own negative thought energy that might be happening with the ego. The next one is oneness. I recognize that the more I live in consciousness of oneness with the universal source God presence within me, the greater the creating power of thought energy within me to manifest good according to the will of the universe, which is God's presence at the center of my mind's beingness. So when we're connected to God, when we're one with that oneness of all, that presence, we are then connected with the entire universal source, God presence. So repeating this again, I recognize that the more I live in a consciousness of oneness with the universal source, God presence within me, the greater the creating power of thought energy within me to manifest good according to the will of the universe, which is God's presence at the center of my mind's beingness. And in every page of every part of the book, there's always one affirmation among all the affirmations about meditation, because that's the key. Here's the one on meditation. I recognize that through my daily practice of meditation, I establish and maintain contact with my universal God source energy to manifest God's purpose for my existence in this physical lifetime. Now, there is a greater purpose. I wrote a song called There's a Greater Purpose. And we can find that. Our purpose should be part of the greater purpose. And when we're aligned with God's will, we are serving that greater purpose. Repeating the one on meditation. I recognize that through my daily practice of meditation, I establish and maintain contact with my universal God source energy to manifest God's purpose for my existence in this physical lifetime. And the last one here on the secret power of the mind is the real secret. I recognize that the secret of my manifesting, creating thought energy power is for the universal God thought energy within me to think through me. So positive thoughts are related to this, of course. Manifestations related to this. And law of attractions related to this. Repeating it, the real secret. I recognize that the secret of my manifesting, creating thought energy power is for the universal God thought energy power within me to think through me. Okay, that's the affirmations from the book. And now we get to talk a little bit about those. I've been meditating on these, and a poem. After I meditate, I write things down. They always come as messages or poems. This one came just this morning. There's always more to do, so it's up to us to choose when we stop and pray and how we spend our time each day. We will always find a way to do so many things, so we stay busy running around as we play with the time we're given that remains. But if we just stop and are aware of what's really happening here, we can elevate our energy to find a universal mind, to see that we're all part of creation's dream and all living with that love of God eternally. So as we decide to choose what's most important to do, you'll direct your energy and create the role you wish to be, so you can live the life you need. We must choose what's most important, and that is when we align ourselves with God. Our choice and our directions and our thoughts are very powerful, and when we make this choice of how we wish to be aligned to the light and love of God, we can really have a life that's really of value, that can make a major difference. Now, the light within our soul will clear away those shadows that we need to do. We were talking about the cleansing. Light is the best cleanser of the mind. Of course, this can be a lifetime practice, right? It's really well worth learning how to keep the mind clear. And when you call in the light, you need to have a clear channel for the light to flow through you. The light is the source and the presence. And that is what is, of course, what we work on when we're meditating. When we're meditating, we go to that center, that soul, that source within, and align ourselves to that light and love of God. And the alignment of the body, mind, and soul provides that clear channel so that we can manifest what we wish to do and our real purpose in life. I use the Aramaic translation of the Lord's Prayer every week here. I love that one. That's a great way to go into your meditation, is saying the Aramaic translation of the Lord's Prayer. It really helps connect you to God. Of course, we all know the Lord's Prayer, but the Aramaic translation of the Lord's Prayer is different. There was much lost in the translation, of course, as we all knew. The translations of the Bible got many times changed over the years. The Aramaic Lord's Prayer goes, Father, Mother of the Cosmos. So what you're doing when you say Father, Mother of the Cosmos, there you're calling upon God. You're calling upon that one source. And again, here's the word that we were just talking about, light. The next phrase in the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer is shimmering light of all. That's the one source. That's the God. Focus your light within us. Okay? So we're bringing that light from the one source right into our very heart and soul, into our being. Focus your light within us as we breathe your holy breath. Okay, another key here. I had a Zen teacher that said breath sweeps mind. So as we get our mind, dirty and it's all dark and full of thoughts and worry, we can just breathe in that light. That breath will sweep your mind. It'll clear your mind right out. And you will actually see, as you focus on your breath and go into your meditation, focusing on your breathing, that your vision becomes much lighter. The energy and the power becomes more powerful. Okay, so that's the breath. Enter the sanctuary of our hearts. Now, in our hearts is the key to our love and soul and to God. Uniting within us the sacred rays of your power and beauty. There are indeed with that light the sacred rays that are so powerful and so beautiful. And that is the love, of course, of God. Let your heart's desire unite heaven and earth through our sacred union. Well, this is actually the enlightenment experience. This is cosmic consciousness. When you combine your body with spirit and with God, you're uniting heaven and earth. You are the bridge. You are the sacred union. You are enlightened. Help us fulfill what lies within the circle of our lives today. Now, this, of course, is what we do when we set our intention and motivation. We set our motivation and stay positive, and now we have the light and the love of God present within us, right? And that's the powerful key, and we bring that into our life and set that as our intention today. Forgive our secret fears as we freely choose to forgive the secret fears of the others. Now, that's an interesting phrase here, because fear is the biggest block to love, right? And we all have these kind of darkness, this place within us, that secret fear, the place that we sometimes won't go to. But when we forgive, which is such a key, that fear, in us we can also forgive others, because everyone has secret fears. And that's when the ego comes in. The next phrase is, let us not enter into forgetfulness, tempted by false appearances. So, yes, indeed, that's the Maya, that's the illusion, that's a forgetfulness. We are always tempted by false appearances, because that's what we see, that we need to distract us, right, from what really is going on, the truth within us. For from your astonishing fire comes the eternal song. Now, there is that fire. There's the fire, the source of all the fire that burns away the illusion. The fire of God is the eternal fire. It's the eternal song, because there is that song that's alive, which is the tone of the universe. It sanctifies all, renewed eternally in our lives, and throughout creation. We seal these words in our hearts, committed in trust and faith. Now, that's one of the reasons I love doing the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. It's a perfect way to connect to what we were saying. You say those words, and they're extremely powerful, and you say them as a prayer. But once you do that, it's good to go into meditation, and you put your soul in the light of that power of God's love. You now have already started the cleansing process, and you now go to that creative force of the universe within you, and you connect with that and literally see that flow of energy as the living current of the life force. So that activates you to be present in the living energy of the Creator. And as Dr. Mester said, we are one with the creative force of God's loving nature, and we can breathe in this pure energy from that source. We can sense it flowing through us. We can literally cleanse by breathing in and bathing in this energy, and we can feel that healing power radiating through every single cell of our being. We breathe in the love that comes from the soul, and we feel that heart of the Master's love right there within our heart. It's the heart of hearts. It's our heartbeat. It's the energy in tune with the universe. We can feel the experience of unconditional love pouring through us as we send that love out to all of our loved ones, to the entire community we live in, to the planet, to all, connecting with the oneness of all. And as we send light and love out, we are fulfilling our purpose of sharing that light and love of God. And we're increasing that love 100-fold when it comes back to us. So send that love out to the world, see it circling the world, see it flying around, and see the darkness dissipating as that light removes the darkness of Maya and illusion. And as it circles round, now see it coming back to your heart, and feel that love coming right back to your soul. Feel it coming right back to that very source within you. And breathe that power in and feel that love throughout your entire being. Now, you're in a perfect place now to plant a seed that will grow into a beautiful thing. Feel that presence. Recognize that presence right now. And if you have a purpose that you're supposed to be doing, plant that purpose in this perfect light as a seed thought to grow, and let it blossom. It may be a project that you've been working on. It may be a project you just completed. It may be something you wish to be. It may be a thought that you've been trying to activate. Now you are ready to activate that. This is the real secret power. You are now in that place connected to God. And you can allow that secret power, that energy of God, to flow forth and to blossom and to grow. And you can feed it every day with positive action. It's not just planting the seed, but watering the seed with your positive energy and action every day. So remember, you can always go to that source. You can go into the state of meditation. You can read these affirmations, and you can feed that energy. You can always call upon the light. You can use that light in the morning. You can take a break, which is always good midday, maybe at lunchtime, because by that time sometimes we're kind of distracted and have a lot of things that have gone on. So you go back again to that light source, right? And you stay connected. Maybe it's a way you can do by going and doing a yoga class at noon, or taking a walk. It's a wonderful time. If you're taking a walk, ask God to be with you on your walk, and make it a meditative walk. Or connect with God before your yoga class. That's a wonderful way midday to take a nice break and reconnect with God. And then at the end of the day at night, thank God for all the blessings. Think about at least 4 or 5 things that you have to be grateful for. And thank God for all those blessings that have come to you. Recognize that you have been a servant of God's will. You have asked to be a servant, and you have been a servant of God's will. I wrote this one as I was thinking about this book and meditating it during the week. This one came to me, which I wish to share with you. If we take away the layers of things that are cluttering up our life, what is left there to be in the core of you and me? In the naked existence that allows us to breathe, we can appreciate the experience of the living truth that is the force that's alive there in you and me. We can hook up into God's GPS and find the path to take to navigate the way of love and to reach that energy behind the thought that motivates our life each day. Now, remember, once you make that connection through your soul to God's GPS, you can just reset it. It doesn't take a lot. Just reset it. Connect with that God presence. Let that compass, that GPS set, be your guide. Let it be your life coach. Let it be the force you tune into and use in your life. And that is the real power we're talking about. That is the key to everything we've been talking about with the power of the universal mind thoughts. It's a great, great gift, and we should use it. And we should use it with love and kindness in our lives, which really activates it properly. You know, the clarity of the life that we experience is the way we live as well. And if we live a good life, we can get more energy and goodness flowing through us. We must always be aligned with that goodness in our body, mind, and soul. So remember the keys, meditate, breathe, call in the light, use these powerful affirmations, use this energy to be doing the best, and feel the blessings that come when you invite that pure power of God into your life. You are a child of God, and God's energy is there for you to use. Learn how to use it and use it wisely. So thank you very much for being here today and for sharing the time here. I have all of these, I think 24 now, of these messages from this wonderful book, Spiritual Mind Power Affirmations, Dr. Paul Leon Masters' book, available on my site, mysticalperspectives.com. You can listen to them all there. They're all stored there. And you can get the book, Spiritual Mind Power Affirmation, at Amazon. You can also go to metaphysics.com. If you go to metaphysics.com, you'll also find the lectures, and you can get the book there as well. And you can also find out about the different courses that are available. You can become a metaphysical minister. There's wonderful resources at metaphysics.com. So I thank you very much for spending time today here in this energy of love and light, and I thank God